Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm Avraj Singh from Khalsa Secondary School, and I'm honored to be standing here before the esteemed audiences and the judges. The reason I stand here before you today is to remind us of the one thing that makes us human: freedom. See, no matter the era, there will always exist people who we call tyrants, who indulge themselves in mountains of riches and debauchery, who live only for kaam, krodh, lobh, moh, ahankar, perpetuating the cycle of death and reincarnation for themselves once again. But it is our duty as humans to stand against that, to fight for freedom even if it may seem small and hopeless. Because that is what our ninth Guru, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, lived and died for. See, he was not just a saint, he was not just a warrior, he was the protector of humanity. His life, which was built upon countless graces of humility, fearlessness, and compassion, gave only one message, which was of freedom. Freedom not only from oppression, but freedom of conscience. Freedom not only to worship, but the freedom of the very soul itself. During Guruji's time, tyranny was at its all-time high. Tyrants came and wanted to crush diversity beneath their feet. They wanted to silence faith that did not co-align with themselves. They oppressed Sikhs, Hindus, and anyone who thought differently, that were arrested, tortured, and forced to convert. In those dark times, Kashmiri Pandits came to Guruji for help. They asked him, "Guruji, could you save our faith?" And Guruji simply replied, "Only the sacrifice of a truly great soul, a prophet, can save your faith." Hearing this, his son, Shri Guru Gobind Rai Ji said, "But Father, who is greater than you in this era?" And hearing this, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji smiled. He did not hesitate, he did not question his path, he simply laughed softly and walked with his head held high. He was arrested, tortured, yet he did not bend. He did not plead for mercy, even as his three beloved Sikhs, Bhai Mati Das Ji, Bhai Sati Das Ji, Bhai Dayala Ji, were executed right in front of his eyes, in the most horrific ways imaginable. Guruji remained calm and unshaken. He knew that everything unfolds according to the divine will of Paramatma. As Guru Arjan Dev Ji said, "Tera pana meetha lage." He lived by following the Guru's teachings and the fate that has been bestowed on himself by the Paramatma. He never bowed down to tyranny and never surrendered his truth. And on 24th November 1675, in the heart of Delhi, he gave his head, but not his faith, might I say. And even when he was faced with that, he did not fear it. The only thing he feared was the desecration of his faith. As such, he asked Bhai Jatha Ji to collect his head after his beheading, so that the tyrant could not make it seem that he bowed his head before the tyrant. That is why we remember him today. Because tyranny did not die on that day. It exists in every era, in every corner of the world. Tyranny exists wherever power is used to silence the truth, wherever hatred divides people, wherever dignity is stripped of another human being. Today we may not face mad emperors, but we face prejudice, we face corruption, we face injustice, misinformation, and greed. This tyranny in governments that deny people of their rights. Tyranny in systems that exploit the poor. Tyranny in societies that judge others by their race, background, and religion. And in this modern age, where comfort and competition are at all-time high, a new time of tyranny has emerged that we call greed. See, nowadays, humans are treated like sheep. They are taught to think only of themselves. They're taught to feed on pride and fatten themselves on greed, and then eat others so that they may uplift themselves. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's Shahidi shatters that illusion. He reminds us that strength is not in taking, but in giving. Not in dominating, but in serving. Not in saving ourselves, but in saving others as well. To resist tyranny, we must not only oppose evil, we must uplift those around us. Help the weak, support the oppressed, show compassion to those who have suffered. There's a saying, my country, right or wrong. But the full version says, my country, right or wrong. If right, to be kept right, and if wrong, to be set right. That is the spirit of resistance. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji teaches us that true bravery is not found in weapons, but in the strength to stand for what is right, even if you must stand alone. You do not need swords to fight tyranny. You only need the truth and a heart to stand before injustice and not bow your head. In Slok Mahalla Nawa, Guruji reminds us that the person who remains calm before pain and pleasure alike is the only one who truly understands life. To resist tyranny, we must first conquer it within ourselves. Our own fear, ego, and greed. When we master those, no external power can defeat us. So as citizens of today's world, let us learn from his legacy. Let us stand firm in our values, defend the right of others, speak the truth even when it's difficult, and never let fear silence what is right. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's Shahidi is not just a story of the past. It's a guide for the future itself. Whenever we encounter injustice, whether it be in our schools, communities, or in our very nations themselves, let us remember the Guru who gave his head for truth. Let us carry his spirit into how we live, how we treat each other, how we stand unshaken for what is right. Because tyranny survives only when good people stay silent. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji broke that silence, and in doing so, he lit a flame in all of us. May we all have the courage to keep that flame alive. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.